Abigail is a horror comedy about Dracula's daughter killing a whole bunch of mercenaries in a mansion. Let's jump into a non-spoiler section for those of you who are on the fence. To get it out of the way, this movie is 80% comedy and 20% horror. The horror elements in this are super minor. You'll only be afraid if you were born 5 minutes into the opening credits. If you're looking for a scary spooky time, look elsewhere. In terms of cast, we have a pretty good one here. In particular, I like Dan Stevens doing a pretty spot-on Bill Burr impersonation. It was a little distracting, but the over-the-top performance made him stick out. Alicia Ware is great as Abigail. The ballerina flares they added to her movements made her presence a lot more fun and theatrical than your standard horror movie villain. Kevin Durant shows decent comedic timing and presentation. Also, for the entire movie, I remembered him as playing Sabretooth in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but turns out he played the Blob. The rest of the cast is more muted in their performances, but no one is particularly bad. In terms of everything else, you won't be awestruck by the action or scares in this, but you won't be bored either. The cast is likable, the comedy entertaining, and the concept is strong. The movie finds its pace early on and maintains it through the finale. If someone asked me if they should see Abigail, I'd say, yeah, go watch it. It's worth it. For spoilers, I'd like to get into a few tweaks to improve what we got, but I'll give you a second to click off if you want to keep yourself spoiler free. Still here? Great, here we go. Number 1. Early in the movie, there's a scene where the characters gather around to tell their backstories. Fine, it wasn't done in the smoothest way, but I was okay with it. Exposition never bothered me anyway. But later in the movie, there's a scene where Abigail gathers the characters around to basically outline the exact same thing. And here it's done in a nefarious manner that outlines the power gap between our heroes and villain. So inarguably, the second scene is superior. Quick fix. Cut the first background expository scene. This would mean we don't learn some characters' backstories, but since they're dead by the time the second scene happens, it hardly matters. Secondary fix, if we still want to hint at our characters' backgrounds beforehand, have Dan Stevens comment about Melissa Barrera and vice versa. Have him say something like, "What's with the candy? You fighting an itch?" And have her say, "What are you, a cop?" Easy peasy, lemon adequately squeezy. Number 2. During the movie, Dan Stevens' character becomes a vampire in order to combat Dracula's kid. Now when I first saw this, I thought, oh, he's gonna team up with Melissa Barrera and sacrifice himself so they can beat Abigail.
Nope.
Instead, he becomes a vampire and is suddenly the most psychopathic maniac in the movie. I get that he was a jerk before, but this felt like a lightning fast shift, which wasn't unreasonable necessarily given his backstory and personality, just surprising. However, I think maintaining Abigail as the big bad is the better choice, which means Danny Boy can only die after she does, if at all. I'd like to have seen a scenario where he dies beating Abigail with Melissa Barrera's help, or I'd like to see them kill Abigail then Melissa kill him in self-defense or preemptively, or just have them kill Abigail and he stays a vampire and just hangs out, I guess. Number 3, at the end of the movie we see Mr. Dracula himself. This is a mistake. We lose all mystique associated with his character once he waltzes on screen. Easy fix for this one, cut him out of the movie. We don't need to see him. It doesn't add anything, it just subtracts from his character. Or, if you want to be spicy, cast someone as a joke to lean more into that comedy aspect of this movie. Either or, both are ingenious. And number 4, there is no number 4. Those are all of my notes for Abigail, and changes. If you made it this far, drop a like, subscribe, and stay tuned for my next review or rewrite. And also, let me know if you agree with my changes or have ones of your own. On my end though, that's all I got for this one. Overall, good movie, glad I saw it. And until the next one, cheers.